Today we're going to read chapters 8 and 9. Last chapter, in chapter 7, we learned a little bit about the history of Stanley's family. I think there might be a clue in this chapter, so listen carefully. A lot of people don't believe in curses. A lot of people don't believe in yellow-spotted lizards either. But if one bites you, it doesn't make a difference whether you believe it or not. Actually, it's kind of odd that scientists named the lizard after its yellow spots. Each lizard has exactly 11 yellow spots, but the spots are hard to see on its yellow-green body. The lizard is from 6 to 10 inches long and has big red eyes. In truth, its eyes are yellow, and its skin around the eyes is what is red. But everyone always speaks of its red eyes. It has black teeth and a milky white tongue. Looking at one, you would have thought it should have been named red-eyed lizard or black-toothed lizard or perhaps white-tongued lizard. If you ever get close enough to see the yellow spots, you probably will be dead. The yellow-spotted lizards like to live in the holes, which offer shade from the sun and protection from predatory birds. Up to 20 lizards can live in one hole. They have strong, powerful legs and can leap out of very deep holes to attack their prey. They eat small animals, insects, certain cactus thorns, and the shells of sunflower seeds. That's the end of chapter 8, but we're going to keep going to chapter 9 since that was a short one. Stanley stood in the shower and let the cold water pour over his hot and sore body. It was 4 minutes of heaven. For the second day in a row, he didn't use soap. He was just too tired. There was no roof over the shower building, and the walls were raised up 6 inches off the ground except for the corners. There was no drain on the floor. The water ran out under the walls and evaporated so quickly in the sun. He put on his clean set of orange clothes. He returned to his tent, put his dirty clothes in his crate, got out his pen and box of stationery, and headed to the rec room. Nearly everything in the room was broken. The TV, the pinball machine, the furniture. Even the people looked broken. Their worn-out bodies sprawled over various chairs and sofas. X-Ray and Armpit were playing pool. The surface of the table reminded Stanley of the surface of the lake. It was full of bumps and holes because so many people have carved their initials in it. There was a hole in the far wall, and an electric fan had been placed in front of it. Cheap air conditioning. At least the fan worked. As Stanley made his way across the room, he tripped over an outstretched leg. "Hey, watch it," said an orange lump on a chair. "You watch it," muttered Stanley, too tired to even care. "What did you say?" the lump demanded. "Nothing," said Stanley. The lump rose. He was almost as big as Stanley and a lot tougher. "You said something?" He poked his fat finger in Stanley's neck. "What'd you say?" A crowd quickly formed around them. "Be cool," said X-Ray, and put his hand on Stanley's shoulders. "You don't want to mess with Caveman," he warned. "The Caveman's cool," said Armpit. "I'm not looking for trouble," Stanley said. "I'm just tired, that's all." The lump grunted. X-Ray and Armpit led Stanley over to a couch. Squid slid over to make room for Stanley so he could sit. "Did you see the Caveman back there?" X-Ray asked. "The Caveman's one tough dude," said Squid, and then he lightly punched Stanley's arm. Stanley leaned back against the couch, which had torn vinyl upholstery. Despite his shower, his body still radiated heat. "I wasn't trying to start anything," he said. The last thing he wanted to do after killing himself all day on the lake was to get in a fight with the boy called Caveman. He was glad X-Ray and Armpit had come to his rescue. "Well, how'd you like your first hole?" asked Squid. Stanley groaned, and the other boys laughed. "Well, the first hole's the hardest." "No way," said X-Ray. "The second hole's a lot harder. You're hurting before you even get started. If you think you're sore now, just wait and see how you feel tomorrow morning. Right?" "That's right," said Squid. "Plus the fun's gone," said X-Ray. "The fun?" asked Stanley. Don't lie to me, said X-Ray. I bet you always wanted to dig a big hole, right? Am I right? Stanley had really never thought about it before, but he knew better than to tell X-Ray that he wasn't right. Every kid in the world wants to dig a big hole. They want to dig their way to China, right? Right, said Stanley. See what I mean, said X-Ray. That's what I'm saying. But now, the fun's gone. And you still have to do it again and again and again. Camp fun and games, said Stanley. What's in the box? Asked Squid. Stanley had forgotten he brought it. Paper. I was going to write my mom a letter. Your mother? Laughed Squid. She'll worry if I don't. Squid scowled. Stanley looked around the room. This was the one place in camp where the boys could enjoy themselves. And what did they do? They wrecked it. The glass on the TV was smashed, as if someone had put their foot through it. Every table or chair seemed to be missing at least a leg. Everything leaned. He waited to write the letter until Squid had gotten up and joined a game of pool. Dear Mom, today was the first day at camp, and I've already made some friends. We've been out at the lake all day, so I'm pretty tired. Once I pass the swimming test, I'll get to learn how to water ski. He stopped writing as he became aware that somebody was reading over his shoulder. He turned to see Zero standing behind the couch. I don't want her to worry about me, he explained. Zero said nothing. He just stared at the letter with a serious, almost angry look on his face. Stanley slipped it back into his stationery box. Did the shoes have red X's on the back? Zero asked him. It took Stanley a moment, but then he realized Zero was asking about Clyde Livingston's shoes. Yes, they did, he said. He wondered how Zero knew that brand. Brand X was a popular brand of sneakers. Maybe Clyde Livingston made a commercial for them. Zero stared at him for a moment, with the same intensity with which he had been staring at the letter. Stanley poked his finger through the hole in the vinyl couch and pulled out some of the stuffing. He wasn't even aware what he was doing. Come on, caveman, dinner, said Armpit. You coming, caveman? Said Squid. Stanley looked around to see that Armpit and Squid were talking to him. Oh, sure, he said. He put the piece of paper and stationery back in the box and then got up and followed the boys. The lump wasn't the caveman, he was. He shrugged his left shoulder. It was a better nickname than Barf Bag. And that's the end of chapters 8 and 9. See you soon for chapter 10. I hope you enjoyed that.